This is 5 on your side at 6, focused on you.
Now at 6, the Missouri Supreme Court appointing a judge who will now decide if St. Louis Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner should keep her job. Good evening. I'm Brent Solomon. Gardner has been under fire since a tragic crash last weekend that caused 17-year-old Janae Edmondson to lose her legs. The driver, who police say was responsible, was supposed to be on house arrest and violated his bond dozens of times. 5 on your side's Travis Cummings is live outside of the Carnahan Courthouse with the very latest. Travis.
Brent, this decision on a judge came rather quickly, as Attorney General Andrew Bailey said it would. He said that he wanted this to be a swift process during an exclusive interview in our studio last night. This is the person that the Missouri Supreme Court has selected to oversee this. Judge John P. Torbitsky of Eastern District Missouri Court of Appeals will now oversee the case. He's taking over because the entire 22nd Circuit Court here in the city of St. Louis recused itself. The judges stepped away because they could be witnesses at a subsequent trial and testify to some of the behaviors that Attorney General Andrew Bailey says, quote, constitutes as willful neglect. Now, our political analyst, Anita Mannion, weighed in on the timeline today. She said oftentimes cases, trials, and investigations can linger for a few years because this removal process has only happened really twice, once in 1989 and 2009. It's difficult to know.
But it will be interesting because the governor's appointment would go until an election. Right now, the election's scheduled for November 2024. So depending on what that timeline is, would determine how long that person might stay in office, if there would be a special election, all those kinds of details.
Judge Torbitsky was initially appointed to the Missouri Court of Appeals back in 2021 during a vacancy by Governor Parson. Now, the people, they voted him in back in November here recently. We'll continue to follow this case as it moves through the system. We're live downtown. Travis Cummings, 5 on your side.
And as her fight with opponents and even allies intensifies, Kim Gardner still has vocal supporters. She was elected in 2020 with more than 70% of the vote. Ryan Henson spoke with them about why they back the embattled circuit attorney.
St. Louis Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner isn't alone in her fight to retain her position amid calls for her resignation.
It's just not one person's problem. It's a lot of people's problem.
Jamel Dobby is a voter and business owner in the city. She's proud of the way Gardner is reforming the justice system and says the criticism against her should be shared by others in the judicial process.
That we put her there. We put her there for a purpose because she has a purpose. Most jobs like that require purpose, and it's a passion for her to even want to be in that job.
And the people put her in, and it'll be the people that vote her out.
Former prosecutor and current defense attorney Gerald Christmas has 20 years of experience in a courtroom. He backs Gardner and says others in the judicial process need to share the blame for allowing Daniel Riley, an armed robbery suspect, to break his house arrest bond agreement multiple times. On Saturday night, Riley crashed a vehicle in downtown. It cost 17-year-old Janae Edmondson her legs and caused her other serious injuries.
But everybody does not have the same responsibility, and that's why you have to educate the people on the law. Kim has no control over bonds. Only the court, the judiciary, has control over bonds.
Now, 5 on your side found discrepancies on Gardner's timeline on when her office asked for stiffer bonds for Daniel Riley. One instance, there was no court on a date that they said they had asked for a stiffer bond, and court records show on several other instances, prosecutors okayed the bond handed down by a judge. I'm Ryan Henson, downtown, 5 on your side.
And 5 on your side has reached out multiple times to Kim Gardner's office. They have not responded to our requests for a one-on-one interview. Well, the St. Louis Wheel is turning shades of purple this weekend in honor of Janae Edmondson. Her favorite color is purple. And supporters are also wearing purple in honor of the Tennessee teen. Justina Cornell joins us now with a closer look. Justina.
Yeah, Brent. So today I spoke to Smyrna's town manager, who says they've designated everyone to wear purple today, from students to elected officials. Now, we've also got in contact with her school, Smyrna High. Teachers and coaches say Janae is multi-talented and a well-rounded student. She played softball at one point, but also excelled at volleyball and basketball. The teen also plays the violin in the school's orchestra, and she's also a part of the National Honor Society. Her volleyball coach said Janae is a bright light. Janae's basketball coach also noted she's one of the toughest kids. The town manager says they are overwhelmed and amazed by the support the community has brought forth, not only in Smyrna, but in St. Louis, too.
And I've heard really good things about the support the family has received there in St. Louis, so we very much appreciate you kind of adopting our family from here in Smyrna.
Now, the support has also been shown through donations. We just checked the GoFundMe 30 minutes ago, and it's already reached $504,000. Now, if you'd like to help, you can text the word support to 314-425-5355.
Justina Cornell reporting. It is a weather alert day today. There's a threat of freezing rain just north and east of St. Louis. Let's get right over to meteorologist Jim Castillo with the weather first forecast. Jim.
Yes, a lot of us will not be seeing this, but Brent, we're watching our northern counties, and right now around the metro, it is clouding up just a little bit, and temperatures are starting to fall. And right around Pittsfield, it's 33 degrees. So when this moisture moves in, it's around Kansas City right now. But that winter weather advisory started up a few minutes ago at 6 p.m. Pike County, Missouri, Greene County, Illinois, Macoupin County, Montgomery County until 4 a.m. So a light glazing of ice is possible. We don't like to see ice anywhere or anytime, but that moisture is just to the west of Columbia, so not yet in the area. We'll talk a little bit more about this coming up in Maine weather, and then we get mild and a chance of some really strong wind gusts late Sunday into Monday, even a risk of some thunderstorms. Brent.
All right, Jim, we'll see you shortly. Today marks 1 year since Russia first invaded Ukraine. In the last year, the greater St. Louis area has welcomed hundreds of refugees. Our Elise Shodnick joins us in studio to tell us where things stand 1 year later. Elise.
Brent, today Ukrainians in St. Louis gathered under the arch for this anniversary. They made signs, sang their country's anthem, and set high hopes that they'll be able to return home soon.
Victoria Nozdrechova has spent the last 7 months as a college student in St. Louis for the first time.
When I woke up today in the morning, I just realized that I didn't see my relatives for 1 year.
It's also the longest she's ever gone without seeing her parents.
My father is a military man and my mother is a nurse in a hospital.
She and her sister live with a sponsor family in St. Louis, but their ties to home remain strong as ever.
We're trying to remember all those people, all those heroes, we're trying to protect our country.
Dozens of Ukrainians surrounded the arch Friday, singing and thinking of their loved ones too.
We want the world to be aware that the war in Ukraine is still going.
Tatiana Mosey came to St. Louis from Ukraine almost 20 years ago. Now she's helping others get the same opportunity.
We are here to commemorate and hopefully not to celebrate the second anniversary.
Organizations like the International Institute are on the same mission.
The folks that were driven from their home because of conflict should always be able to find a place of safety and a place that welcomes them.
Blake Hamilton says the organization has served 327 Ukrainians since March of last year.
This is a long-standing tradition, I would say, in St. Louis to welcome individuals who are fleeing persecution, who are fleeing war.
As the war continues, Nozdrechova says she's fighting too, for the day she can finally go home.
After all this terrible things that are going on in my country, I will return home.
The International Institute also tells me there have been at least 750 sponsorship applicants submitted. That's in the 5-county area of St. Louis since last March. So this data includes St. Louis City and County, St. Charles, Lincoln County, and Jefferson County.